Alright, just hear me out for a second, because I know on the surface, this game might kind of seem like a joke and not really something that needs to be talked about, and maybe that's true, but I think there's a surprising amount of fun to be had with it too. I was immediately interested in checking it out when I saw that it was free to play, and as with anything that's free to play, there's no real downside to at least checking it out and seeing if you enjoy it or not, and having not seen the new Space Jam movie yet, I figured I would wait until doing that to play it. So I did watch the movie on HBO Max, which in itself was also sort of free, and I can't lie that added a lot to the enjoyment I had for it. Maybe I still would have enjoyed it if I had gone to the theater and spent the 20 bucks on the ticket and popcorn and whatever else, but to watch it in the comfort of my own home, I had a really fun time with it on an otherwise pretty boring Saturday afternoon. But to bring it back to the game, I had a really fun time playing it, even though it's probably not what I would consider a good game, and I guess there's something to be said about that. Maybe this isn't a good thing to say, but quality doesn't always have to be the most important thing. If I just based my thoughts on all the reviews coming out about what people were saying about the movie and the game, I would have probably passed on both of them and never thought anything of it. I just would have gone on assuming people were right and that they shouldn't have been made, and I really don't think that's the case at all after actually experiencing them. If this game and movie had come out when I was around 10 years old, I'm sure I would have been obsessed with both of them and would be looking for Space Jam, a new Legacy posters for my wall, and trying to unlock every single thing that you can get in this game, and just having a blast without any consideration of what the general public thought about it. And I know that for a fact because I did the exact same thing with a ton of the movie tie-in games when I was growing up. You can look back at those games now and see that a lot of them weren't necessarily very good overall, but I wouldn't have known the difference back then, and honestly I think I would still have a really good time with them now. And this is part of the bigger discussion that I wanted to have in relation to this game. Sure, this isn't exactly the type of tie-in game that we used to get in the past. It's pretty much a 45-minute long beat 'em up that you can 100% in the course of a couple hours and then put down and forget about by the next day, but it is still a tie-in game, and therefore it will probably bring in anybody that did enjoy the movie, and that's a really cool thing. I sorely miss movie tie-in games, probably more than I should, and I made a whole video about that sometime last year going over a lot of what I loved about them. And it's just a sad state of affairs where they are now because they're basically extinct. So even though this is a far cry from what we used to get in the past, with some games being literal scene for scene creations that would last hours and would be a huge treat for someone that wanted more out of that universe of the movie, we instead got a pretty simple arcadey beat 'em up with pretty minimal effort that in a way was very reminiscent to the beat 'em ups of old, which is a part of what they were going for, I'm sure, but it really didn't have anything to do with the movie aside from having LeBron in it and Don Cheadle and a few of the other characters being in the game for the boss fights. Also, there's a basketball that's always being used, and when you're not fighting, you just casually dribble it around, and if you throw it away, Tweety Bird goes and gets it for you. And that was a pretty silly thing, but pretty adorable thing at the same time to see every time. But yeah, it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie at all, and in fact, if you have seen the movie, the entire thing pretty much revolves around a video game that LeBron's son in the movie made, and it would have been pretty cool to get a knockoff version of that instead of this. But all that being said, I still think this was a fun game because of getting to play as LeBron and Bugs Bunny, Lola Bunny, fighting against Anthony Davis. It's all pretty dumb, but I would rather them make a game like this than not make a game for the movie at all. And if anything, the game being out was a huge reason for me watching the movie, so I think it worked exactly as they were hoping for when they made this, because as the case with any tie-in game, they're just another form of marketing for the movie, and for someone like me, that's one of the most useful ways of marketing that they can have. I've yet to play these games, but I've been dying to play the Cars 3 game and Fast and Furious Crossroads, even though that's not really a tie-in game either, but Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson are in it, and that sounds just silly enough for me to want to check that out. Same thing with the Ghostbusters game that came out a few years back that brought back most of the cast, and to fans that was essentially the closest thing they ever got to a Ghostbusters 3. I don't think movie tie-in games will ever be prominent again, but I hope that they never die out completely because it's a part of both my movie and gaming loving heart that I'm just always going to cherish. So that's all I got for this one. I had been thinking about how to approach this video for about a week now because I just wanted to have a sort of sit-down discussion about this game and the whole movie tie-in thing, and I'm glad that I finally did it. I knew that there was no real reason to review this game, but I honestly just love having these kinds of discussion videos, and they're by far my favorite videos to do. I've said to somebody in the comments before that I wanted to be a professional game reviewer, and after I said that, I kind of just sat back and thought about it, and that's really not true at all. The last thing I ever want is for these videos to feel professional in any way, way, and maybe that sounds kind of weird, but I don't want them to come off that way, and maybe they do a little bit, but I'm just someone who enjoys playing video games. I love making videos, and I love talking about stuff, so I just want my videos to kind of be a way of getting to talk about whatever they might be about, and I hope that you can find some enjoyment in that, and you know, maybe want to talk about whatever it might be too. And I just really don't want it to be like a very buttoned up thing. I just want it to be very casual, and that's the approach I'm going for with all of these. And so yeah, you know, I really do appreciate all of you watching. It really does mean so much to me. And also, like, the reviews aren't going anywhere. I still love doing them. I will always look for the right game that speaks to me, and of course I'm always looking for the smaller games that might have fallen through the cracks too. But you know, I just wanted to mention all of that because I want to be more open in these videos and not always have them be so cut and dry about just the game, because I want it to be more about, like, I want it to be about more than just that. So again, I hope that you do enjoy them because I really love making videos more than maybe anything in my life, so they're not going to go anywhere. But most important of all, I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope you're having a great day. I hope to catch you all in the next video. If you want to come back for that, that would be really cool. But if not, I understand, and I'm just glad that you were here for this one. So until then, everybody, take care.